Hey everyone, thanks for joining our live stream today on MSPs and Distributors, creating the ideal customer journey. I'm really excited to welcome Greg Starr, Director of Managed Services at Meriplex, and Kirk Robinson, Chief Country Executive at Ingram.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're excited to talk today and meet you and talk to you about what it is that MSP and Distributors, how we bring value to you, the end user, the customer. And with me today, I have Kirk Robinson, who is the Chief Country Executive for Ingram Micro for the U.S. Welcome, Kirk.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate you having me today.
So, go ahead.
No, all you.
All right. So to dive right into it, when we work with customers, they often know us. They know they know who we are at Meriplex, but they don't know the power of what the partnership we have behind us with Ingram Micro and all of the value add you bring to us that drives all the way down to our customers. So tell us who Ingram Micro is and what it is you do.
Sure. Ingram Micro has been around for 40 years, and we are a global company operating in 56 countries. And last year we finished up with $47 billion in revenue and right around 35,000 associates. And we have a deep expertise across all technology, especially areas like cloud, advanced solutions, mobility, and consumer. Right now, as you would imagine, work from home, anything technology related is or focused is quite a hot area for us. We have four imperatives that we're focused on around our strategy. One is data led. We really want to know more about our partners like Meriplex. The more we know about you, the better we can serve you, the more intelligent conversations we can have around the technology needs of your partners. Next is services focused. You know this, Greg, because you and I spend a fair amount of time talking about the services that Meriplex offers, and if Ingram can be a bench or have aggregate services that Meriplex can use, saving you the cost. We are also technology invested. So we are the middleman in our industry, and we have to look at who are the vendors that we're going to focus on so that we have the right horses to bet on. What are the vendors and what are the right solutions? And lastly, the people. So who are the people in Ingram? How do we continue to train and educate them, and also look to bring in the best and the brightest? And lastly, I would say we're very, very focused on customer experience. We think that is the priority every company should have. In fact, we just took one of our more tenured reps, Tyler Coughlin, and made him VP of Customer Experience. So tying in all the areas that we touch customers and how can we improve that overall experience.
That's awesome. When you think about all the years we've worked together, and it's been good night. I mean, you and I have worked together for going on 18 years now. So we've seen a lot of changes through the industry and a lot of changes in technology. And there's so much relevance you guys bring to us whenever we think about where is it our customers have needs? Where is it our customers, what's the next big things that we need to be in front of to help our customers understand what their technology needs to look like in 5 years? And with this depth and breadth of knowledge that y'all bring to us, we're able to help our customers stay ahead of the curve and help us in a lot of areas to be prepared for what comes next for our customers. And that's the key to this whole relationship is, you guys on the back end supporting us, supporting our customers, and it's really a streamlined setup the way this works, and there's so much value in it. So we want to look at it from our customers' perspective, though, right? So
Right.
a lot of customers, there's people out there that they want to go out and do their own research. They want to go out and figure it out, and they have pain points when they start trying to develop solutions, when they start trying to find the right products. And when we think about that, I look at the pain points they have. There are multi-vendor relationships they have to manage. And what we see on our side is, they might, if take a small business, for instance, they might have 5 to 10 different main vendors they have to deal with. Well, within those vendors, depending on what it is, they might have to have multiple relationships in a single vendor, one for a SAN network, one for servers, one for switching and routing and wireless. And they have to have all these different touch points to pull all of this together so that they can figure out what it is they need and how it all comes together and works day in and day out. But then there's another aspect of that. You think about ongoing support from a warranty and subscription renewals, life cycling, and all of the things it takes to keep a network up and running and know you're covered and protected at the end of the day. Now, thinking about the pain points around this multi-vendor relationship, where does Ingram come in and work with Meriplex to help fulfill that and make that easier for the customer?
Yeah, I think that's the exciting part of the industry we're in, right? Is everyday technology changes. So how do we all stay current? And we recognize the problem at your customer's level, right? They have to look at, okay, how do I solve the technology needs of my company, and how can I save costs? So when you talk about multi-vendor relationships, Ingram Micro has over 1,500 vendors. And that goes from, a cable to a very expensive license for a particular software vendor to all the cloud needs. So, sorry, I'm lighting up here. So what we do, Greg, one of the things that for the past 40 years we've done an excellent job of, and we hear this from our partners, is our tech support. So you have the ability to listen to your customers' problems and then lean on a world-class customer support or technical support team to look at those solutions and vet them out, and do they work together? And I'll tell you, the Ingram Micro associate base in the US has over 3,500 certifications of different vendors. We actually have people on our staff that have certifications that the vendor doesn't even have people carry, very high level. So that's, I think, one of the areas that we really bring value to a partner like Meriplex and to your partners, is the ability to look at any technology problem and bring the right people and the subject matter experts to vet it out and test it and make sure your partner is assured they're getting the right type of solution.
Exactly. And you touched on the technical support aspect. And, when I look at that, a lot of times from a customer perspective, there's a lot of vendors that offer, they just offer a call-in queue and you don't know who you're going to talk to. And they offer now online forums and chats and knowledge-based articles. And, you're just sitting at some point waiting for the next available person to take the call, but there's no relationship there. And from our side, Meriplex, we will take that call from the customer and we will help them work through their issues with this vendor's product and work through the problems that are arising, on the network. But then there are times we have to take it to that next level, and we get to a point where we go, okay, we need to pull in some outside resources, and that's where Ingram does come in. Y'all have that back end group that we can make a phone call to and go, okay, this is a new one we hadn't seen before. Do you know of anything that has, with this vendor that has caused these problems? And so it's actually a multi-tiered support approach to how we support the customer. It's our people, working with your people, working with the vendor. And so in the end, we usually are able to come up with a pretty good solution to any problem from a technical support standpoint. But that really doesn't take us from the front. That's the back end of the technical support, right? On the front end, a lot of times the pain point I see is customers trying to architect their own solutions. And what that means is they are in there, they're having to call multiple vendors because, most solutions aren't single vendor solved. And so they're having to call multiple vendors. They're trying to figure out compatibility between products. They spend hours on the phone, hours on the internet researching. At the end of the day, they're comparing vendors on price, on functionality, on what does it meet their business needs. How am I going to finance across all these vendors? And how am I going to pay for this? And that at the end of the day, they're doing all this legwork themselves, when in reality, we've got a team at Ingram that we work with that can do the entire piece for them. So how does that work on the wholesale side?
Well, it's interesting, Greg. Two areas that I looked at that we invested in you've seen it in our Buffalo office, the Business Technology Center. So we work with the vendors, and we've built out a section of our Buffalo building with all technology and technology solutions. And we have partners like yourself bringing their customers in to actually do hands-on demonstrations and to look at the solutions that they're actually in need of, to see how they work and how the vendors work together. And I'll tell you that's like a 99.9% close rate on deals, because it's helping your partner and you be able to sit right in front of the technology and look at the solutions that are needed. And it goes from anything around data center infrastructure all the way to home theater and all the other areas that Ingram spans. The other one we invested in is an IoT center. Same concept, because IoT is so broad in the number of solutions you can look at. We wanted to invest in the people that can architect those solutions. In fact, we just hired a guy who worked at Disney, and he solved an issue with their garbage. They put sensors on the garbage cans. Usually someone would have a route and go garbage can to garbage can. But what happens is by the time you hit the last one, it'd be overflowing. And as you know, Disney's about experience. And so the sensor allowed the individual cleaning the garbage to know exactly which one to go to when it hit a certain level of garbage. And so delivering a much cleaner environment. It may sound funny, but you can imagine the type of experience that delivers when you have a clean park, as opposed to all families walking by an overflowing cart. So we have the ability to support you in these types of technology solutions across the board.
Awesome. And I see we have a question today from Yesenia, and she asked, can you touch a bit more on how Ingram adds value for customers directly? And you really brought up a point there with your business technology centers on the East Coast and the West Coast, because we have utilized that with our customers to where we have worked to provide a solution for our customers' business problems. And we got with some vendors to figure out, and got with Ingram to figure out what does the solution look like, and then brought in the vendors that needed to be a part of that solution. And we ended up flying our customers with us to Buffalo, New York, to Ingram's center, or sales office, where they have this business transformation center. So now then the customers were able to come in and sit down with the Ingram team, with us. We were able to go in and look at that solution in production across multiple vendors and see how it worked, to show them this is a true proof of concept, to prove that the compatibility between these vendors works, that this is the right solution to meet your business needs. And to do that, it took Ingram working with us to drive this all the way through to that end user customer, because this was nothing they could have done on their own, trying to work through all these vendors on their own. And it's a powerful partnership we have in that area. And that's just a little glimpse into what that business technology center can do. But we can do that while going on site or remote. There is so much power in this. So in the transformation or technology center, is there a little bit more about how we can drive that as another value add straight to our customers?
Yeah, Greg, I'll tell you, one of the things that's available is you can do the demonstrations virtually right now. So as you'd imagine, with no travel and COVID, even prior, we were working on the ability to do this virtually, so we didn't have to fly everybody in. Certainly, hands-on demonstrations can sometimes lead to more questions and the ability to the whole touch and feel experience. But we do have this virtually also. And the thing I would add is we're always looking at how can we save you cost. So how we know that at the end of the day, you go all the way back to where you started, Greg, with the complex solutions your customers are looking to solve. There's so many ways to solve them these days. Just look at the cloud environment, right? Public, private, hybrid. How do I handle data migration? We have the expertise and we have the ability to work closely with Meriplex and our partners on looking at all the solutions. It's an advantage we have. We probably have 25,000 active customers in the US. The largest one does almost $2 billion a year with us. The smaller, the long tail, they might do a few thousand. And we have the experience of looking across all those customers and the technology and solutions that are going into your end partners.
That's awesome. So let's have a deeper dive into what the customer journey is. And I'm going to start off with an example, and then we can take that example and drive it down through these points on the slide for how it works in the real world. But I remember years ago, we were working with a super large paper mill organization in the US, and they had a problem with theft at scale houses. There were some situations where big diesels pulling logs in where, people were fudging numbers and there was a large amount of theft happening and they needed a way to solve for it. And, at the end of the day, we knew technology, we knew somewhat about video surveillance, but tying it all together for us, we didn't know how to bring it all together into a package that could solve the customer's problem. So the first thing I did was pick up and call my friend Kirk and say, I got a problem. I need a solution. And that started this customer journey on how do we get from the point of a business problem to solving that. And as we go through this, it's pretty standard that step one is always that business engagement. And that's on our part, Meriplex, where we are working directly with the customers and we're engaging, talking to them, and we're understanding the challenges they face and where they need help driving solutions. But at the point we understand that, our next step is we pick up the phone and we call Ingram and we explain to them what they need. And then when we call you guys, then that's where you do your magic. And so what is that magic you take on at that point?
Well, Greg, I think that's where you get the advantage of a $47 billion company, right? We've been doing this 40 years. We look at it as our job to take on any technology challenge. So you and I have had many conversations across the years on different technology issues that come up. I then can rely on my team, and it can cross a variety of solutions. It can cross financial solutions. At any certain point in time, Ingram Micro has over $2 billion in credit going out to our partners. But more importantly, over the past several years, we've built out new financial solutions. Knowing the challenges in the market, whether it was COVID, whether it's any other challenges that come up, we look at how can we create financial solutions to help our partners. I would also say we built out an integration center so that we're not just doing the basic, integration work of asset tagging and imaging. Now we're doing full integration for our partners who have those needs. Even marketing. We have a marketing agency that if we took it out of Ingram would be in the top 3 in Orange County, California. And they have a variety of services, whether it's the rebranding of your company, working on end user lead generation demand. So I think when you called me up for the end user theft problem, I then turn to my team and we start to look at, okay, what are the areas and who are the subject matter experts that we can bring in to take a look at this? And that's it. That's the advantage you have of working with a partner the size of Ingram.
And that's a huge piece because in a lot of ways, you are vendor agnostic when it comes to building a solution. You've got all those vendors, but you look for the best of breed to solve the problem. And you take it all the way down to which one meets every aspect. And that is information that a lot of times our end users, and even sometimes we don't have without your back end helping us fulfill that need. But, one of the big things we see is when the customer goes direct to the vendors themselves, they're not really able to tap into the pricing levels and promotions that we are through our certifications, through our training, through the different aspects that we engage at the vendor level through Ingram to make sure we're able to get them the best possible deal they can get, so that for them, it's a win on the business solution. It's also a win on the CapEx or OpEx they need. So where does Ingram come in to work with a Meriplex to drive this value through to the customer?
Yeah, I think our relationship with the vendors are quite tight. And that's where we come in, is we're often the middleman between helping with these large deals and making sure that we can get the appropriate pricing. Depending upon the size of the deal, your end customer, we can work with the vendors to make sure we can get the most aggressive pricing. I've been at Ingram almost 28 years, and so I understand the pricing issue within our industry, right? Everybody wants to get a fair or aggressive price. Ingram Micro, our business is built off of scale. We were public from 1996 to 2016, and then we went private, but we have always showed our quarterly earnings throughout. And our business is about working with you to get the most fair price we can. That once again, we're looking at how can we save costs to both you and your partner. If we do that right, then we hit the right mark.
And one of the things that y'all have always been so helpful with us on is when we get into a new market with a vendor, we start from square one. What are the requirements for us to get the certifications for our technical staff? What are the requirements from a sales pricing staff certification we need? And y'all lay out those plans for us and allow us to go achieve all of this and help us through that. So that takes a lot of burden off our customers because we stay ahead of that curve and take care of it. So then they don't have to worry about that. But, one of the things that Ingram is known for, and really back to its roots, is logistics management. Getting, pick, pack, and ship. How do we get what the customer needs to them in a timely manner? So let's talk about Ingram's power of logistics. And think about it, yes, we have a lot of U.S. customers, but we also have international customers as well. And right. Ingram is a globalistic company. So where do we go with Ingram on this?
Well, once again, we've been doing this quite a while. We have 5 warehouses in the U.S. that we can hit any location other than the outer limits of maybe Alaska or the far stretches of the country within 2 days delivery. It is our expertise. It's such an expertise that we turned it into another piece of our business. So probably 15 years ago, we realized we had extra space in the warehouse And we started working with the likes of Apple and Microsoft in doing their logistics. We actually ran the Apple warehouse up in Sacramento for many years because that was our expertise. Today, if you walk through one of our warehouses, you'll see technology on one side of the racks that go floor to ceiling. And on the other side, you'll see t-shirts and toothbrushes and baby carriages because we're the back end of Walmart.com. And then you'll see Peloton. We're the back end for Peloton for everything but the bicycle. So all the accessories. And I could go through a host of companies that most people see every day, Levi's and others. And they lean on us for our supply chain expertise. So it's 40 years of really building off of our logistics expertise that puts us in this position to be able to help you deliver not just the US, to your point, internationally. And, I ran global sales for several years. You and I have worked on several deals. We always say when it comes to global deals, they all have their own fingerprint. It is not easy, but because of our true global presence, we make it easier.
Awesome. And the last point is really quick, but it's implementation and support. And our customers we'll come in after finding all this and we'll drop in and configure and make it successful at the end user level. And that last piece is it goes beyond once it's installed. Ingram helps us manage the warranties going forward, the life cycle management going forward, and they fulfill a lot of those needs. So we do have a question here. It says, can customers be included in a technical support call, Kirk?
I don't believe that's an issue. I think we deal with that, quite often, pulling in the right people. It's dependent upon you. Many times our partners want to talk to our tech support. And in all honesty, that's why the brand name of Ingram maybe not as visible as others. We were in the top 100, Fortune 100 when we were public, but most people wouldn't know our name because we're the middleman behind the curtain most of the time. So most partners will call in and work directly with their tech support and bring that back. If there are difficulties and we need to bring an end customer in, absolutely.
Awesome. So we're going to hit the last slide. We got a couple of minutes left here and talk about the takeaways. So the Ingram Micro Meriplex partnership is strong. It's very strong. It is a two-way relationship and we rely on each other. They need us to get to the customer. We need them to deliver the right solution. But there are endless possibilities when you start taking the technology and the capabilities that an Ingram and a Meriplex has together to develop the solutions that our customers need. And really, when we think about that, Kirk, the endless possibilities, I mean, is there an end to that? That's a big word, but where can we go?
There's no end to it, Greg. When we work with 1,500 vendors and we're bringing new vendors in every day. We have an emerging vendor business group where we incubate vendors, whether it's security, storage, or other technologies, and help them grow. There is no end. One of the things we say at Ingram Micro, our brand, is imagine next. Right? What can we imagine next? Because it's coming, and with a partner our size, we'll be able to help you. So I really don't think there's an end to the possibilities out there.
That is awesome. And the third bullet point is forward thinking plus technology evolution. And we touched on this earlier, but at the end of the day, we all know with technology, it's all changing every 6 months. How are we staying ahead of that? How are we making sure that our customers are ahead of that curve? It's our partnership. Y'all are watching ahead of us with the vendors and helping us stay in tune with that. And we see that as one of the biggest strengths between our partnership. And we appreciate what Ingram does for us in that area. And the last piece is centralized service through global presence plus capabilities. And we touched on that, but I'm going to let you end on that, Kirk.
Well, being a global company in technology, it makes sure that there's no end to the possibilities because the deals that come through every day are so different. And when you look at how much technology is changing, how rapid it is, we have to be thinking about tomorrow all the time while delivering on today. And I would just say, Greg, it's our relationship is critical because we really learn from each other. You know, when our team is working with Meriplex, you're bringing us the questions on new solutions and what can that be. And we have to continue to innovate to make sure we're bringing you the right solutions that fit you and your partner.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today, Kirk. We know your time is valuable. We appreciate you taking time to spend with us and our customers and explain the power of this partnership and why it is successful. So thank you very much.
My pleasure, Greg. Anytime.